One of the complaints I had from a number of students when they were completing their initial homework assignment was that the cat ends up sort of upside down and on his head at certain times. So we just watched this right now. Cat makes a W just fine, but as he makes the R, he ends up kind of upside down and on his head. And in particular, here as he's going through the D, he ends up sideways and upside down and backwards and all sorts of crazy things through there. And that bothered some people, and they wanted to know, is there a way to make the cat draw out these initials while always appearing upright like this? And the answer is absolutely. It's actually fairly easy to do. The challenge is it's in a block that you may not have noticed. So as you're looking at the motion menu here, you may not notice it. As you scroll down, there's a block. The very last actual block is set rotation style. And that's what we're defining here, how the cat rotates. And there are three options under rotation style. There's left, right, don't rotate, and all around. Actually, right now, so even though the block says set it to left, right, the cat right now is in all around mode, which is why he ends up upside down and backwards, because whenever you say point in direction, 183, well, 183 is down and actually slightly to the left, right? The bad example there. But he's going to point in whatever direction you want. So there's two other options. Left, right basically says, I always want to keep his head up. And I should be careful here. It's not really that Scratch knows that his head is up, but whatever costume we're defining as being, pointing to the 90-degree mark, which is kind of the default for cats, that's considered head up. And so if we set left, right, this cat will stay head up. And even though I may rotate him any directions in the positive values, he will always point to the right. And when I move him to the negative values, rather than being upside down, he'll just flip and be a mirror image. So watch this carefully. And it's going to be pretty, notice that he flipped there for just a second on this and starts pointing to the left. So he never ends up upside down with that. He flips left or right. And in other words, he's always pointing either 90 degrees or negative 90 degrees from a costume perspective, even though his internal sprite may be pointing another direction. The other one that we can do is to use don't rotate at all, which basically says I'm going to have him always pointing the way he would look if he were pointing 90 degrees. And so now when we make this, he will never rotate. He will always stay in that 90-degree configuration of pointing to the right. Okay? And so if you don't like the cat being on his head and at funny angles, you can change that with set rotation style. And this actually will come up again in one of the videos later on in the unit, but it's something that was bothering some people now, so I wanted to point it out.